Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the star line by two women who are part of the most important all-female rock band you never heard of. Their documentary, Fanny, The Right to Rock, is out. We welcome Patti Quatro and Brie Darling.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ladies, let's go beyond the mic. Brie, you've known all these women since you were 16.
That's right.
How has your appreciation grown for all you have achieved, though you were fighting sexism, anti-immigrant sentiment, now ageism, and much more?
Yeah, it's interesting. From having made the documentary and now seen it and seen people's reactions, that was a big wake-up call for me because, this was just my life. I lived it, and I didn't have as big of a perspective, and now I do. And I didn't realize at the time how difficult things were for us on all those levels. Being girls playing rock and roll, being Asian American in a time like when my parents moved to the United States, it wasn't even legal for them to be married, which I just learned from some of my family. So yeah, it's been a big awakening. And ageism, this is the only time maybe, Patti, I don't know if you agree with me, when people can really say, what is it like to play? They used to say, what is it like to be a girl and play? Now what is it like to be a little older and play?
Patti, David Bowie said of Fanny, quote, "Fanny was the most important band in American rock, has been buried without a trace," unquote. How do you feel now that legend after legend after legend continue to give you the respect now some think that you should have gotten 50 years ago?
Well, thank you. That's very nice. It would have been nice, right? It's great that he said that, and he said it on such a visible format. I remember when I read that in Rolling Stone, I thought, wow, we're going to finally get recognized. Okay, that was 22 years ago, 23 years ago. It took this long. So,
and he had actually input into our costuming. I remember when he was coming to see us, at different gigs, and he came to New York City, and he walked in, he said, always make an entrance.
Yeah.
And he told, and he had an input into those costuming things we wore. He was so creative and so gracious.
Yeah, the record that Patti and I did together, Rock and Roll Survivors, which was the fifth Fanny album with, I have to say, with the biggest Fanny hit, Butterboy.
Yep.
He was... we did it as a rock opera, which was, I think, at the time in '74, a little bit ahead of its time, wasn't it, Patti?
Oh yeah, and it was banned in Boston, and it was still hitting all over. I mean, it was our biggest hit.
Yeah,
and it was about David.
How has music touched your lives?
Oh, music has been my whole life. I've been playing since I was 14. Joined my first band at 14. I met June and Jean when I was 16, and even though when Fanny was over, I continued on. So music is a big part of my life. I've been really fortunate to tour with some of the greatest musicians, that I could possibly imagine and record with, and still do. So I'm touched.
Same for me. I grew up in a very musical family. My brother was one of the biggest promoters in the Midwest. He brought in Hendrix and Stones at the the first time ever, and opened up the rock scene. So all of the Quatro girls were just nurtured in music, and it has been my whole life. It was like the family business. And I think we toured with everybody. My God, my mentors were Jeff Beck and Leslie West, and it's my passion. It's been an incredible, incredible life with music. And we didn't look at the gender. We just wanted to play. And our dad said, you go for it. He was so supportive. He was a big band leader. Said, you do it.
And one of the cool things about being in the music business, or just being in the art of making music, is it changed for me. I started out as a drummer. I didn't know I could sing, and then I learned I could sing when I met June and Jean, because they had me do the R&B hits of the day, and then I played, and I came down and started recording, and then after a long while, I started writing, and writing is a huge part of my musicality now, and it goes on and on. Hey, if you're out there and if you love music, if you have any desire to play music, you go for it, because
Absolutely.
We've got this one opportunity down here. So do something epic. Do it now. play music. It's a great life.
It's time for One Big Question with Patti Quatro and Brie Darling, members of the band Fanny, and their documentary, Fanny, The Right to Rock, is now available. Ladies, how do you want Fanny to be remembered?
We broke down a lot of doors, and it still isn't quite broken, but it sure is more respected. I've never seen so many women in music making it, but it's the all-girl thing that was something very unusual. We were just a novelty. And, you know, it's time for some respect for so many women groups that were rocking it and not allowed to play a guitar between their legs or drum. I mean, it's time for some respect to that, because we've been there all along.
I want to be remembered as a band of badass bitches, man.
Now, how would you think if your band was revived, it had been launched today? I mean, imagine if you were 16 years old, the lights are dimmed, and you guys just start rocking, and no one knows about you, and then the lights come up, and all of a sudden, it's Fanny.
You're making me want to go out there right this second. I'm ready. I'll go out there and kick some booty. I think we would be received really well. Listen, when we have performed together, we just did something in LA all together, except for the keyboard player who has disappeared. We kicked some booty. It was fun.
They love it. Yeah, I mean, standing O's and the whole thing. They get behind it. It's like part of history, and a lot of young kids still rediscovering it. It's so amazing to see that. Like, where were you? How come I didn't know about you? We get that from young kids, too. Yeah.
As incredibly inspiring is your story, what's the message for young women today who want to be in a rock and roll band?
You know, for me, it has always been great being not only with playing with other women, but playing with guys, too. And you can recognize it when somebody is into what you're doing. And I've had a lot of young girls and young kids or young people, and I'm older too, saying, I want to do that. And I say, just go for it. If you really want to do it, go for it. It's not particularly easy, but if you have the burn, I mean, I still wake up every day excited about what I'm going to create for the day. And if you have that, if you want to do it or perform, you know, just you got to just do it. You have the ability as much as any other person on this planet, male or female, gay or straight, old or young. You have the ability to do it if you just want to do it. So it's been a great life. Music, playing in all kinds of music, rock bands, playing drums, singing. It's been an amazing life. So you want that, you have as much opportunity or reason or anything as anybody.
And I mean, you can't let somebody still your passion. You know, you've got to bring it alive and do it, and don't let somebody tell you no.
Yeah.
You better respect Fanny. Their documentary, Fanny, The Right to Rock, is out now. We thank Patti Quatro and Brie Darling for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.